Hello again, my name's Christina and this is part 2 of episode number 19. My name is Christina and this is the Gussets and Go Days podcast about my knitting, stitching and crafting endeavours, although this part will just be exclusively about sewing. You can go back and watch part number 1. I've talked about my knitting and my little crocheting that I've been up to at the moment, and I've done lots of sewing, and so I thought it deserved its own specific episode. So I'm going to jump in and talk about this lovely jacket, which it's a vintage reproduction. That is 1319 by Simplicity. So these two are the same. It has just got, obviously the length is a little bit longer, so I made that version. If I look at the pattern envelope, it was telling me, I mean, my sizing, bust, waist, hip, I should be a size 20 in this pattern. It's absolutely soul destroying, so let's just pretend that I didn't say that, but there we go. I made the 14, so gosh, usually I would step down 1 or maybe 2 sizes. I stepped down 3 sizes. That seems a little bit excessive, but the reason I did that was because I looked at some other people's what some other people had made, and I love to do that, whether it's looking at the hashtag on Instagram or on Pinterest, or looking at blogs where someone has made it. It's absolutely invaluable to see other people, and I found in general a lot of people had made them what I would say was excessively large. They are a loose style, so I think that gives you that little bit more flexibility. With sizing, if something is very fitted and very slim to the body, I wouldn't go down as much, but I don't know, a few people look quite swamped with it, and it's also really great to you know, to choose what you want to do with the fabric. So there are a few people that have made them in linens, looked amazing, and in wools, really gorgeous. It was even like a twill denim, a couple of people, they were amazing. Cottons did not look so good, so kind of as I try and look at them with a critical eye, obviously just for my own personal reference, just to see what is it I like about this piece, what don't I like, and what do I want to try and bring in for myself. So I'm just going to put it on for you because it's so back out. The only part which was a little bit too small were the arms. I know, ridiculous. I know I have big arms. Did I make an allowance for it? No, I didn't. Did I twirl for it? No, I didn't. All I did after I'd made it and was like, a bit tight, I just let out from here to here on the outside, which I don't know if you can see. I started here, about 1/2 inch, and then nothing. So there's just a little slither there that I've let out. I think this is adorable. It's got this lovely little, I mean, this is called a pocket. You can't put anything in there. Because it falls out, I have tried. And it is a tiny bit longer in the back, tiny bit shorter in the front, which just gives that nice little look. It is meant to have turned up cuffs, which I have allowed for. So when I made it, I rolled it, the seam to one side, so that when it's cuffed it would be perfectly even. However, that sleeve cuffed is just ridiculously short, which I would have known had I made a twirl. So don't do as I do as I say, and make yourself a twirl, even when it's boxy and you think you don't need to, because it will save you heartache later. Note to self, Christina, make twirls. Make twirls, Christina. You are going to regret it if you don't. There we go. So, yeah. I can very fractionally see, not dimples, but I can see where this hem finishes inside. And that is because I did quite a, gosh, what would you call it? I did a whip stitch, where your thread goes around the edge. Usually I would turn back my edge and just do a tiny little kind of ladder stitch, I think, where you just take a little bite from one side, a little bite from the other. But this, I kind of spiraled my thread around because I thought if I was going to wear it cuffed and uncuffed, that would be quite a lot of tugging. So I really wanted it to be nice and secure. However, now I'm not going to wear it cuffed. I don't know. It doesn't bother me because this was done purposefully. Had I done that by accident, that would drive me insane. I made that conscious decision to do this on purpose. So, what did I do differently? There is only one thing. I did not adjust this pattern at all. The length is exactly as the same. The size is the same. It's UK 14. If I'd made the 20, I mean, that is... My waist is here, like, perfectly sized. Only the arm is the only fitted bit. And I've still got plenty of space. Should potentially try it on with a cardigan because, you know, I have made that mistake a few times. I've never made that mistake with a customer. I am very strict with a customer. Right underwear, right shoes, you know, is it a jacket? Okay, let's get a cardigan on, maybe a shirt on, let's see the full, you know. With myself, I'm like slapdash. It just does not occur to me to do those things. Why? I will make a dress with a completely wrong bra because it did not occur to me, and then afterwards I'm going, no. Anyway, super cute. The only thing I did differently was, I believe this piece is meant to be folded back and then stitched through the machine, kind of bagged out, but that is a very large sandwich of fabric. So I made it unflapped with this part down, bagged it out, and then I've just done a lovely little hand stitch running across, which is lovely and secure. Give it a nice, I'm pulling that quite tight, and it's really nicely secure. So just tiny little stitches. I think that made all the difference. So I'm super happy with this. I thought that with some high-waisted wide leg trousers this would look lovely. I thought with a little pencil skirt it would look nice. I don't know how, you know, would I wear it with this full skirt? I quite like it actually with this. I quite like it with the little brown buttons. Just needs like a gorgeous brooch there, which I do have one. And I need to give it a quick steam because I steamed it with pins in. And you can just see those little shadows of a mark, which I put it on the mannequin, and I was just trying to get that nice fold, and I cheekily left the pins in. Anyway, so it's boxy, no shaping, and I really like it. There is one huge flaw in this design, is that if you are an elegant woman, which I think on the podcast it may come across that I am, I'm not. I am a crazy bag lady and carry way too much stuff with me at all times and look slightly bedraggled occasionally, mostly. So I wore this to the shop, you know, went to town, thought I'd look super chic, waltzing in was fine. You know, got your little hands in there, lovely little walk, perfect. Got to town, turned into crazy bag lady carrying all my stuff home. I had Easter bonnets, I had Easter eggs, I had crafty things for the children who are coming to visit me for Easter, and there is no closure on this, and it was a windy day, and so this is like flapping you in the face and like trying to come off, and all I ended up in a little bit of a twist. So this is a non-windy day jacket as a little topper. This is not for warmth on a cold windy day. Unless you have nothing in your hands, in which case you can walk like this. Although that, you know, maybe a little dressing gown kind of tie or belt or something. Anyway, the fabric I bought in Classic Textiles, which I used to buy all of my fabric from. So most of my fabric stash is from Classic Textiles on the Gold Hook Road in Shepherd's Bush in London. That's London, England. And so that's most of my stash now, because that was my favourite shop when I lived in London, and I've got quite a few things still which I haven't used. They do not have a website, you just have to kind of go in there and just whatever's there. often can't reorder things for you, so you know, if it's gone, it's gone, and if it's fabulous, if you come back tomorrow, it very well may be gone. So anyway, the lining was from the same place. This is my favourite lining, which they sell. Gosh, I don't even know what it's made of. Is it acetate maybe? Anyway, it doesn't rip easily. It is a synthetic. As much as I love a silk lining, I am not delicate enough to use it because I tear it. Anyway, there's a slight twill, don't know if you can see running through it. And I tend to find that they are the best linings. A nice twill, plain colour, matching, which is really sweet. It's got a nice facing. And then I hand stitch my hems. And there's that little bit of extra kind of space in there. So yeah, that was a really, really lovely make. That was the first thing I've made recently which had me invigorated, and there's been a lot of invigoration in these. I've been saying that a lot recently. Anyway, I just felt inspired and really into making it, so I didn't put it down often, I just blitzed through it. So that's the first thing. Second thing is what is on my mannequin, which is a twill, or muslin. It's for the Swirl dress. It is just a, it will be a dress. Obviously I will often do this. I will often only make the, I'll only make the bodice part if something has got a full skirt. So this is the Swirl dress from Gertie Sews Jiffy Dresses. I love Gertie. She's fabulous. When I'm grown up, I think I might want to be Gertie. So it's the Swirl dress. And a super popular vintage style. It's a wrap dress in reverse, so the wrap is in the back, which you can see there. This is just in a really fine cotton. I'd run out of calico, so I made it from this. And this was kind of the first little sample that I made. There's a seam down the front, which there's not meant to be because I didn't have enough fabric. So yeah, I'm going to make it out of a gingham, which this is the same colour as what my school uniform was in primary school, and so I don't know, I adore this colour, and I've had this in my stash for quite some time. I intended to make a shirt dress out of it, but then it would have looked exactly like my uniform when I was in primary school, so I thought this was a good alternative. It's got a nice low scoop neck, which I don't know if you can see, and then it's gathered across here, which then gives the shape over the bust. The little cap sleeves are very cute. This seam is just a straight seam, completely straight seam. So for me to make the sleeves bigger, I just stopped the stitching earlier. So instead of stitching the full way, you know, I just stopped an inch and a half, I think. That was a really quick, simple fix. Any other adjustments I did? This is the unadjusted version, by the way. I have now adjusted the pattern. I will not be making a second twill because there's not enough adjustments. If I make a huge number of adjustments, I will do that in a certain number of twirls. I'll do, you know, 2 or 3, try it on again, make a new twirl, another 2 or 3. But this was 2 pattern adjustments and then just that little sewing a little bit less to give me more armhole space. So I've nipped a tiny little bite from here and gone out just so that this line wouldn't gape. My mannequin is a little bit narrower through the back than I am, so that was slightly gaping on me, and then I did a full bust adjustment just to be on the safe side. I mean, it maybe potentially didn't need it. I just did a ½ an inch, which gave me a tiny bit of extra length and a tiny bit of extra width, and I thought just that tiny little smidge of ½ an inch just made the difference between those potentially looking quite taut over the bust and looking just gently fitted. So yeah, again, this was also from Classic Textiles. It's 100% cotton gingham. It smells very bizarre at the moment because I had it packed with some canvas fabric, which was had a very strange smell, like kind of like a glue. It was like an art canvas, so that was a big mistake. All my fabrics are pre-washed, unless it's an outerwear like the coat. I didn't pre-wash that, but this is all pre-washed, and I'm loving it so much. I also went fabric shopping. I went to Abakhan Fabrics in Shrewsbury, and I picked up this beautiful viscose because this is just saying spring to me. It's absolutely stunning. There are a couple that I liked. There was a pink I really liked, which was just a tiny bit too sheer, and I just thought that would be a little bit silly. I did still get a plain viscose. They've not been ironed, they've been pre-washed and dried. I hang them to dry. So just in case I needed to interline or line any of the pieces. But I'm not sure how I'm feeling about making this dress a second time in a viscose. I'm not sure. The skirt is an A-line, but it sits quite close to the body on the hip line. So I'm not sure whether the fine silkiness is a good idea, kind of across the hip area. I'm not sure. We will see, but regardless, this will be a gorgeous summer dress. My favourite dress I ever made was viscose, and whenever I wear it, it's got a full skirt, pleated, and I just love to run my fingers over the skirt as I wear it, and it just feels so nice, and it has a full skirt, so it swishes really nicely. I don't wear it with a petticoat, so you can't really tell that it's a big skirt, to be honest, but just as you walk you get that lovely swish. So I've yet to decide. I really also like the patio dress from the same book. I mean, to be honest, I like all the dresses. The patio dress, short sleeved, is really cute. I don't think that the gathering, I'm not sure viscose and gathering are really a good idea. I feel like you need something with a tiny bit more body. And there it is in the black. Full length sleeves. So I don't know if I would get a crisp enough collar for that one. And as I said, the gathering through the skirt, I don't think it would hold. I think it would just lay a little bit limp. So I just may have to find something, you know, else fabulous. But I had to get it because it's so English. That is such an English meadow feeling. You know, if a fairy were to pick a fabric in the shop I went to, I feel like she would pick this fabric because it's so whimsical and so adorable and so lovely. So cute. And then I thought maybe I could do like a little, these aren't red, these are not as bright as fuchsia, but close. And I love these hollyhocks. Oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. Anyway, I thought I could do that kind of fuchsia belt and trim somewhere maybe. So we will see. We will see. But that is ready. I have to wash straight away. Wash it straight away. Get it nicely. I will press it or steam it or whatever. Get it packed away in a box. One of the boxes that has not had the weird canvas fabric in it, so it won't smell. It'll be ready to go. So yeah. And then the final thing is I ordered some fabric from, I think it was from myfabrics.co.uk. Now I'll write the details below, and this is the houndstooth wool in black and grey. I ordered quite a few samples from them because I've not made many pairs of trousers. I've altered many pairs of trousers, but I've never made pairs of trousers before. And my biggest problem with wearing trousers is that my thighs rub together, and it causes the friction of the fabric just disappears. So with jeans, you end up with big holes or like patchy areas. So when I ordered a few swatches, I was kind of rubbing it together to see which ones would pill. Some of the fabrics that I'd ordered were not dense enough, so when I kind of pulled or scratched and held up to the light, you could see where the weave was separating. Now, if that is just from a couple of scratches, I know that it's not going to wear well. This was I know there was polyester in it. I think it was a polyester wool. Anyway, it's got a lovely softness to it. There is a houndstooth, but it's very, very faint. It's just got a nice textured marl to the eye, I think. I mean, unless you're looking at it so closely, you just get that nice texture. And it was the most, I think it was £8 a metre, which is really reasonably priced. And I thought that the polyester would make sure that it was machine washable and would wear better. So I have machine washed it. I haven't ironed it yet. And to be honest, I think in a garment, you could wash this, hang it up in a hanger, and it wouldn't need ironing, unless you had put a crease in it down the front or something maybe. So I'm thinking this beautiful wool in a high-waisted trouser with this pattern. Simplicity 8243. It's got a little pleat on the front, which has been stitched down a little bit. I don't know if I would stitch it down, just because the difference between my waist and high hip is it's quite a big difference, so I'm not sure how that would look, but I'll try it. I will twirl this. I imagine it will take me quite a few twirls to get it right. Yeah. I did choose a grey and forest green plaid, but it's been good. I waited for my next paycheck to buy it and they'd sold out, which was annoying. So got this one instead. This is my second choice and this is lovely. And this is probably, to be fair, more wearable. I thought that I would make them as a menswear trouser. So a tailored menswear trouser, the two front pieces are lined. They are backed. They're not lined separately. They have got some fabric laid on top, which is a lining. So I found some of my lovely black twill, which I thought I would use. And I thought, in addition to that menswear technique, I could also leave a little bit of extra fabric in the centre back. So mostly in ladies wear garments, all the fabric is cut away. Mostly in a menswear pair of trousers, there is a good V pressed open on that centre back seam, which means that most trousers I can let out at least 2 inches at the top. So I thought I would attempt to do the same thing for the ladies wear. It does give a little bit of extra bulk, so we'll see if that works. You know, I can always cut it down after. But I thought this high-waisted pair of trousers with the beehive yarn fabric in that cardigan, and I just thought that would be such a cute little outfit. And then maybe I could make the matching, well, we'll see about the shirt having such a large collar, but something similar without a shoulder pad, because I naturally have a nice shoulder which fills out things very well. So yeah, seems to have been mirroring these colours actually. That was unintentional, but there we go. So gosh, I've got this cut out in this is just the leftovers, you know, quite a bit of leftover. I thought I'd do some bias cut pockets, would be super cute. So, you know, you've got the grain going down and then diagonal, so there's diamonds on the pockets. I'm feeling so excited. Anyway, I think that is all my sewing at the moment. My mannequin I made, it is a very awful cheap mannequin that I bought on Amazon for I think £20. It was a polystyrene one, and I filled her, I paper mache'd her over a couple of months because it took so long for each layer to dry, and I had to add a bust and a little bit of, you know, hips because she was so flat. And she was originally a size 8 and she's now a size 14. And then I put my little logo, and she's got tattoos actually through her upper body, which you can't see. She's got like a little heart on one side and sparrows on the other. So I do love my mannequin, although I do wish I had an adjustable one. which would be so handy to make things for other people. But as I am very selfish and only make things for myself, it works perfectly. And I have to keep her clothed though with something, otherwise she looks kind of rude, because most mannequins are very slim and very flat, and I see nothing naughty about that. But she's a fuller figured lady, and without any garments on, she looks a little bit rude if you look through my window. So I do like to keep her modestly attired, just to save the blushes of my neighbour Barbara. Should she want to peek in my windows, which she is not a window peeper. I am a window peeper, and I do feel that she may have caught me a few times peeping in her windows. I love looking in other people's windows, you know, but there we go. You're not meant to. I have rattled on far too long. I'm sorry if that was a little bit all over the place. Hopefully I will see you soon, and hopefully I'll be wearing that in this with the red lipstick on. And I'm hoping that it's actually going to be lovely and warm outside today, because I haven't left the house, and clearly I'm ready for a baking hot summer's day with sandals and a little I will leave out the straw hat and maybe wear the little camel topper. Anyway, happy Easter everybody, whether you celebrate it or not. My guests actually don't celebrate Easter, but I just thought, you know, something super. Who doesn't want to do a treasure hunt to find sweets around my house? I'm jealous. I'm a grown woman and I'm jealous of these small children. I've made clues and all sorts. Anyway, be quiet, Christina. See you soon. Thank you for watching. I'm Christina from the Gussets and Go Days podcast. You can find me on Instagram as Gussets and Go Days, as well as on Instagram, as well as on Ravelry. There we go. And hopefully I will be a little bit more coherent and restrained next week, instead of behaving like an insane person. So see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.